Life is never constant. It's full of growth and change. That's the beauty of it. But no matter how your life changes, your income is the one constant you'll always need to rely on. Your income is more than just the money you earn. It's what you use to impact the lives of those you love and the world around you. It provides for the things you need today and holds the futures of those close to you. Your income is what allows you to continuously live your purpose, the why you do what you do. And seeing the impact of all your efforts is what drives you to keep going even when times get tough. That's why at FMI, we believe you should start with protecting your income first. It's what we do differently to help keep you impacting the lives of your loved ones and making a difference in the world. Choose to put your income first with FMI. Make your impact. Protect your income first. FMI, life done better.
Right, good afternoon. FMI really appreciates the opportunity of being here today with you at this inaugural Fairbairn Consult Conference. One day you're going to look back and you're going to go, I was there for the first one after Guy and Dirk have built an empire. And I only have 15 minutes today, so I'm going to use it wisely because I always have a lot to say, but I'll try and make it count. Briefly, an agenda just to work through is kind of in two halves. The first part is we're going to slightly unpack and give you some ideas around how to build your own personal brand and how important it is. And then at the end, if time allows, I'm just going to touch on why FMI is the best kept secret in the industry. So, kicking right off, what is a personal brand? And I was listening to Kali speaking there, and he made some really valid points to take into consideration and pay attention to. And having a personal brand is kind of an extension of who you are in life, and particularly in our industry. So, and I'm not talking about celebrity brand, I'm not talking about company brand or product. I'm talking about you as a person. And I have a lot of notes on some of the slides I'm going to share, and you can just read them through yourself, and I'll talk to some of them. But to kind of illustrate it, everyone has, I know a really good builder. My builder's the best. My plumber is the best plumber. And the truth is, I really do have the best short-term guy. So everyone says they have the best short-term guy. So why is James special? James is special because when you have an incident at 2 o'clock on a Sunday morning after a night out, and you may have a fender bender, James is the first person you phone. You don't phone the police. And he appears roadside. And he's built a brand. He's built a personal brand within his community and within his clients. And he gets referrals. And he has become the go-to guy. When Durban burnt, we all had these concerns about Sasria and who had ticked the box and who had the cover in place. All James's clients had that by default. He didn't ask them. So he's built a brand called James the Short-Term Guy. And I think that's really important because what it does is he's created trust, he's taken his skills and his certain style, and he's added value. But more importantly, he's created a brand called James. And I think it's important as financial advisors to appreciate that there's 8,500 or 10,500 financial advisors out there that probably do what everyone else does to an extent or to a degree. You've got to stand up. You've got to stand out. And most of the top advisors that I deal with and have dealt with over the last 25 years in this industry are guys that have a personal brand, guys and ladies that have a personal brand, that have differentiated themselves from their peers. So what is a personal brand? What should your brand say about you? Are you unique? Are you authentic, trustworthy, available? Are you what James is to his clients? He's doing better now, post the unrest, than he ever did before. He's got clients pouring into his office. So, and you've got to think about it carefully. Where are you positioned in this industry and amongst this plethora of people that pretty much offer similar service to you? Strategically, the whole debate around being a specialist versus being, a generalist. Consistent, reliable. Those are the important things that are going to differentiate you from the marketplace. So kind of to illustrate this, and I'm not sure if everyone nationally knows who Wendy Knowler is, I'm assuming you do, but in Durban we certainly know who she is. Wendy's a journalist. But Wendy's a special journalist because she's built a brand called Wendy Nola. She's reliable. She takes care of consumer issues. She follows things through to the end. She's available. She has integrity. She fights the fight on behalf of the consumer. Here's a perfect illustration of someone who stepped above just being a journalist and become a brand that you can rely on, a brand that you can trust, and a person you'll turn to when you feel you've been wronged as a consumer. And it's a nice illustration of what I mean by you can stand out if you build a personal brand correctly. So why is it important for you as financial advisors to have your own personal brand? Because most importantly, it differentiates you, as I've said before, but it can actually create a snowball effect where people start coming to you when they speak to other people who have dealt with you. And eventually you become like a beacon, a lighthouse, and you're the go-to guy. And you guys all know, as an industry, the hardest thing to get is new clients and get referrals. The fact that you differentiate, and the fact that you stand out, and the fact that you have a sense of meaning and intent for your clients benefits your practice, and it just helps you grow fundamentally as an advisor. So you need to ask yourself a few questions about how you build a personal brand. You've got to look inwards and say, well, what drives me? You know, what am I good at? What impact do I want to have? And most importantly, I suppose, is when you're going through this process, and I'm really stating the obvious here, but it's kind of something to stop and think about, and is what is your unique value proposition to the market? You know, Guy said earlier on, when he was doing the introduction this morning, that maybe there's one thing you get out of today's that you'll take away. And I'm hoping that the one thing you take out of today is the importance of having a unique value proposition in this market that we're dealing in. So that leads into what is your target market? You know, if you're an expert, and I believe in specializing, I believe that it's the way to go for IFAs. Most of the most successful advisors that I dealt with and do deal with are specialists in their areas. But it creates a scenario where you have less competition. You're targeted in what you do well at, and people come to you for that. So it's important that you ascertain what is your target market and what you're going after as a financial advisor. So let's touch a bit on this unique value proposition that you have to the world. It kind of, in the slide I've got here, it kind of starts with understanding your strengths, but for me it also ends with talking about your strengths. When you understand who you are, you need to advertise that. You need to get it out there. It defines who you are. It defines your uniqueness. You know, I'm standing here as a sales guy. So it took me a while to define and to understand what my personality is, but I now know who I am and what value I can add. I don't want to look at an income statement and be the finance guy in a business. You have to play to your strengths. You have to understand who you are, and you have to talk to your strengths. And it's almost self-promotion. So here's a risky topic, but I know we chatted about him earlier today. Tito Mboweni is a perfect example of someone who's built their own brand, and I believe successfully. So although politics is a dangerous minefield to talk about, Tito stands out from his contemporaries. I call him Tito Mboweni. He's built an entire presence, footprint on social media, and in every survey that gets done about our government and those in power, and although he's retired now, he comes out at the top as the most popular. And there's a reason for that. He's kept a sense of integrity. He's kept a sense of trustworthiness. And he's defined who he is as a person, even when a lot of the people around him were making mistakes. He's always maintained the high ground. And that's an important example of someone who can stand out from the crowd because of who he is and how he's built a brand true to who he is and who he believes he is. So a couple of key tactics to follow. Tell your story. You know, when you go to a presentation and there's a whole lot of slides up about how products work, etc., the only thing you really remember is the story. Tell your story to people. Work on your social footprint. You know, it's a dangerous world out there when it comes to social media, and we know every one of us here survived the giant Facebook crash. WhatsApp crash of 2021 on Monday, and it was an interesting exercise to see how upset people got about the fact that for 6 or 7 hours no one could access social media properly, and everyone moved to Twitter. Good for Twitter, they probably put the bug in. But the presence you have, as Cully referred to, and the things your reputation, your brand, your persona that you put out into the world needs to be thought about. Think about what you post. Think about the message you want to relay to the marketplace, and not just on social media, in the context of conversations, talking to people, talking to your clients, etc. And know what your content is. You know, if you are an expert, share that content. Don't keep it to yourself. You know, I've got a comment here that says, if your free advice is great, could you imagine how spectacular your paid for advice is? People will move towards you. They are attracted to people that tell stories and share things and successes. Probably most of you are going to leave here today and remember the story I told you about James the broker, and phone me up afterwards and go, I live in Durban, I want to know who James the short-term guy is. That's probably what you're going to take away, and that's important. Tell your story, but make sure that you share your expertise. So I've used the majority of my time to talk about this, and I've gone fairly quickly because of time, but just think about it. Stop, sit down and think, what is my personal brand? What am I saying to the world out there? Right, for the rest of my time here today, I'm going to tell you why we're the best kept secret in the industry, without going into product guy. So FMI started off as an income protection specialist company, but essentially we're still a company that wears an income hat. We're a fully fledged life risk insurer. We offer pretty much everything, but we believe in income first. So I'm not going to be arrogant and tell you that the way we've sold insurance for the last 20 or 30 years is incorrect. But we are in a new world now. And I think the pandemic has created a renewed awareness for the need for life insurance. But there's a slight and subtle change. That awareness is about it's about getting life cover while you're alive, as opposed to after you've passed. And income is critical, and income is now the flavor of the month coming out of this technical recession we've just endured and probably are still in. We wear an income hat because we do believe that there's a better way of looking at the way we sell and market life insurance to our clients. So what are the reasons to partner with them? Our last 4 minutes here. If you all know NMG, they're an independent body that gives that deals with the industry and the data, etc., that is out there and available. They do an advisor survey in the beginning of every year, and this year we partook for the first time as FMI, and they have 18 indicators as to what advisors, independent financial advisors, want and rate companies. And in the 18 categories, 11 of them, FMI came first. And that's by the advisors that are out there. The independent financial advisors, whether they're in a big corporate or whether they're working from home. And the most important ones that stuck out for me from the NMG survey were ease of doing business, relationship management, and our business capability index score. But ease of doing business is the key one for me, because that is the number one reason advisors support insurers. And that's from the advisors. It's not price. It's ease of doing business. It's about making my life easier. And we have spent years honing that thing and making sure that your interaction as an advisor with us as an insurer is seamless and benefits you and your practice. Right, just quickly, the SCORE survey, SCORE Reinsurance Survey, came out as well this year and said that we highly rated. Quotes, speed and quality of underwriting decisions, advisor-centric, personalized approach to things. And I'm sharing this with you because this is a critical issue in your lives. There's a very complicated world out there for financial advisors at the moment. And if we can tick the big box, which is ease of doing business, half the job is done for you. So why relationship management, ease of doing business? What has our focus been at FMI? And I'm not going to go through all the points, but we believe that you can pick up the telephone and the head of underwriting will answer the phone. We have every single counter offer letter or decline. The financial advisor gets called personally by the underwriter making the decision and explains that decision. And I'm using that as an example of why it's important that we are personalized and we're approachable and we're agile and we can make decisions, to support you, the financial advisor. And one of the things we've all been doing, and we've had to do, and we're halfway down the road in most cases, and some companies are further than others in this journey, is we've embraced this digital revolution. We have to as a business. So FMI has done a lot in the last few years around making sure that we stay relevant, we stay digital, the platforms all work, and everything's integrated. And this is a key issue because it really is only about one thing. It's making ease of doing business with the insurer important. And the one thing I want to touch on here is we launched our digital application form in March this year, and we went immediately, within 6 weeks, we went to 50% adoption. That is the future. And I'm brave enough to stand here today that say, within 18 months' time, I expect we will be hard-pressed to still have paper apps at FMI. The future is digital. It's not just about filling in a digital application form. It's about the fact that we have invested in the world's first income protection automated underwriting engine. And that RP of RP, the intellectual property of the income protection, is now automated. We will be in a position in 6 to 12 months where 50% of our decisions are coming in from a digital application form and are being made from an underwriting risk assessment perspective by a machine. And that's the future. The world is going to exist soon for you as a financial advisor where you can sit with the client, fill in an application form, and press accept within 3 or 4 hours. So we've really heavily invested in the future of our environment, I suppose, and our work environment, which is digital. So briefly, what sets us apart? I've only got 8 seconds left, but I know that we're running ahead of schedule, so I'll take a little bit more time. What sets us apart? I believe that there's 3 really key core principles that FMI offers: customized solutions, future insurability, and claim certainty. FMI believes that everyone should have the right to have their income protected. And that hasn't always been the case in our industry. So we are permanently pushing the envelope to bring more and more occupations on board. If you look at our occupation list, even from day 1 cover or 7-day waiting period on income protection, we have the most occupations available. We really are working, and we continue to look to bring more people into that. We've moved far away from the days of having to be a professional in order to get 7-day waiting period. We're driving that into the industry, and we hope our competitors copy us. It's important from an FMI income first perspective to have a balance between income benefits, life income benefits, and life lump sum, and not necessarily put everything in one basket. And our quotes package illustrates how that is beneficial to your client and more affordable. And, you know, we're dealing with a changing world. We are now in a position to offer cover, income protection cover particularly, past age 65. You know, people are working. I'm 54 years old. I have no intention of retiring in 10 years' time. And most of us here today will probably be working into our 70s. The world's changed. We need to make sure that we adapt to the market and our products adapt and follow suit. Future insurability, I'm not going to get into too much detail, but suffice to say, I believe honestly we have the best future insurability in the market. We believe at FMI we have one opportunity to assess you from a risk perspective. And that for the rest of your policy, you should be able to adapt and move your policy around. And obviously there's rules in place, but you can get up to 300% more cover without going for medicals, even if you've claimed. You know, it's really important that your clients' life risk policies can be adaptable. In good times, you can lower the cover and increase the cover for them or their benefit cover levels, and in bad times, you can reduce it. We don't want to send people back for medicals all the time. So our future insurability is great, and when we have the breakaway sessions later in the year, we'll get into a lot of detail about that. Claim certainty. The corniest thing I'll say today is that we are in this industry to pay claims, but that is actually the reality. And FMI pays a lot of claims. And the one thing we've did that fundamentally changed everything is we introduced an innovation called fast-track claim events. So we went back on our 26-year history and we ascertained pretty much we could ascertain and pretty much identify what events, accidents, illnesses, etc., created what claim periods and payout periods, etc. So we've introduced something now where we call fast-track claims. And I have to be honest, it's made a fundamental difference to our business. And a lot of that, I believe, has come back through the advisors and their clients. And that's the reason why we are growing so rapidly, and we have done in the last 3 to 4 years. is our fast-track claims, very briefly. You can put your client can put the claim in on day one, and we know from that diagnostic or that evidence from the medical practitioner or whatever it may be, will result in a claim of X period of time, and we pay your client immediately within 24 hours. We then go and assess the claim because we know that for that event, the minimum period will be 30 days or 72 days or 14 days. We're putting the money into your client's pockets up front because we know how long that claim's going to be for. So just remember the FMI fast-track claims. It's a game changer. Yes, so, well over time, Steve, but I hope you took something from this presentation. We honestly believe we're the best kept secret. We've grown at 25% a year for the last 4 years. And the recent energy survey compared 2019 new business volumes to 2021. They left out 2020 because it was all over the place. And our industry, across bank, tied, franchise, independent, actually shrunk by 0.8%. And that's understandable. We're coming out of it. FMI grew the most, by 13%. And there's a reason for it. So we look forward to seeing you in November or whenever the confirmed dates are, Dirk. And I'll bring the team and we'll make it an exciting and eventful day for you. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.